What if I told you that a country's food safety standards are improving faster than anywhere else in the world? Wales just cracked the UK's hygiene rating leaderboard, and is raising some fascinating questions about how we measure quality in everyday life. Let me break this down for you. Here's the thing, when we talk about food safety, it's easy to think of it as a dry, bureaucratic checklist. But this report from High Speed Training shows something way more interesting. Wales isn't just hitting higher numbers, it's rewriting the rules of what's possible. Their average rating jumped from 4.47 to 4.51 in a single year, which might sound small, but in the world of food safety, that's a seismic shift. What makes this really interesting is how it reflects a cultural shift. Are businesses in Wales suddenly prioritizing hygiene more than their neighbors? Or is this a result of stricter enforcement? I think it's both. Let's get real for a second. A 4.57 average rating across the UK sounds impressive, but here's the catch, 11.7% of businesses still scored a 3 or below. That's not just a statistic, it's a reminder that even in a system that's improving, there are still gaps. And don't get me started on the 25,503 premises that scored poorly. If you take a step back and think about it, that's like a fifth of all restaurants and cafes in the UK failing to meet basic hygiene standards. How does that impact public health? How many people are unknowingly eating at places that should be shut down? Wales' success story is partly about geography. Wrexham, with a 4.94 rating, is a shining example of how local efforts can make a difference. But Blaenau Gwent's 3.96 score is a harsh contrast. Why is one area thriving while another is lagging? Is it funding? Education? Or maybe cultural attitudes toward food safety? I find it fascinating that Rhondda Cynon TEF improved the most, while Ceredigion dropped slightly. What does that say about regional priorities? Are some areas investing in training programs that others aren't? Here's a deeper thought. The Food Hygiene Rating Scheme isn't just about numbers. It's a social contract between businesses and consumers. When a restaurant displays a 5, it's not just a badge, it's a promise. But what happens when that promise is broken? The report highlights that low ratings can tank a business's reputation faster than any scandal. In my opinion, this is where the real power lies. Customers are becoming more informed, and they're using these ratings as voting tools. A 3 rating isn't just a warning, it's a death sentence for profitability. And let's not forget the legal angle. In Wales and Northern Ireland, businesses are forced to display their ratings. In England, it's optional. What does that tell us about accountability? I think it's a glaring inconsistency. If you're in a country where transparency is mandatory, you're more likely to see systemic improvement. But in places where it's voluntary, the burden falls on consumers to do their homework. That's a recipe for inequality. Some people can afford to research, others can't. This report isn't just about food. It's a microcosm of how standards evolve. When a nation prioritizes hygiene, it's not just about preventing illness, it's about building trust. A detail I find fascinating is how this mirrors trends in other industries. Think about how customer reviews have transformed retail or how safety certifications shape our trust in tech. Food safety is the same, it's a silent influencer in our daily decisions. So here's the takeaway, Wales' progress isn't just a win for restaurants. It's a blueprint for how small, consistent improvements can create ripple effects. But the bigger question is, what happens when we apply this same rigor to other areas of life? Because if we can raise the bar on something as basic as food safety, imagine what else we could achieve. What do you think? Are we ready to demand more from the systems around us?